Alright, hello everyone and welcome back to my channel. Today is a very exciting day for me because this is my 1-year anniversary of living an alcohol-free life. And it feels so good to say that. It's currently December 31st, 2020. At the time that I am filming this, it's about 5:30 in the evening, New Year's Eve. And I know some of you watching this might think that it's crazy that New Year's Eve is my alcohol-free date. But I decided that I wanted to make that change last year before the new year even started because I just knew in my heart and I knew in my soul that alcohol did not align with who I wanted to be anymore. So I wanted to take today as an opportunity to hold myself accountable by posting this and to share with you guys what I've learned, what I've experienced through this journey of not having alcohol be a part of the picture anymore. To give you like a little bit of an understanding as to what led me to this decision, we'll backpedal to the end of last year. So end of last year was really tough for me. I was going through a lot in my personal life and a lot of pressure, but it led me to my spiritual awakening, and I am so thankful for it now in hindsight. I am so grateful for everything that happened to me, every lesson that I learned, everything that I experienced, because it truly led me down this path towards my true self. And with that spiritual awakening came this shift in what resonated with me and what didn't resonate with me anymore. And if you're on a spiritual path, I'm sure some of this will resonate with you, but the more I got into spirituality, the more I started diving inward, questioning things, and really trying to raise my vibration, the less alcohol seemed to resonate. And I remember the last time I drank was December 30th of last year. I was actually at a Zed concert with a couple of my friends. I'll try to see if I can insert a picture here somewhere, but I remember even being at that concert and my friends were all, drinking champagne and having fun, and I was certainly having fun, but I just remember thinking to myself, like, I don't want this anymore. This just doesn't feel right to me anymore. And it was just like this intuitive understanding, this intuitive knowing that I just didn't enjoy alcohol anymore. So I only had a couple of drinks that night. And I loved the concert. I loved spending time with my friends. If they're watching this, guys, that concert was so fun. But I just knew in my heart, I knew in that moment, I was like, this is the last time I'm gonna drink alcohol. I don't want it anymore. I don't want it to be a part of the equation in my life anymore. So December 31st, that next day when I woke up, I said to myself, hey, I'm just gonna stop now. I'm literally just gonna stop drinking and I'm gonna see how long it can go for. For some of you listening, I wanna just like make it clear that I was never in rehab. I never was in a recovery program. This was just a personal choice that I had made in my life just because so many different things had sort of led me to this point. And even before, my spiritual awakening, alcohol definitely held me back. I think back to when I was my heaviest. I was also drinking the most at that time, so it really got in the way of my fitness goals. It got in the way of my self-esteem, my health. Just on like a physical level, a mental level, it definitely held me back. And I think back to when I used to drink, back in college and whatnot. And I think there's this kind of societal pressure, or I don't even know what the word would be, but just this like thing that we have in society, at least in Western culture, where it's like you drink to loosen up, you drink to have fun, you drink to socialize, and then we start to kind of reiterate the belief to ourselves that like we need to drink in order to have fun. And it took me a while to break away that belief and to kind of chip away that belief, because I'm at a point now where I do not believe I need alcohol at all to have a good time. In fact, I think it would be the opposite. I'm so happy now without it, and I truly don't even miss it either. Like, I don't miss it at all. I don't want it to be a part of the equation anymore. So yeah, back to what I was saying. So New Year's Eve, or the day before New Year's Eve rather, that was the last time that I drank. And I set that intention for the new year. I really didn't expect it to last a long time. I just kind of figured, okay, I'm gonna like see how long I can do without it and see how I feel. And I felt so freaking good. Like in the first few weeks of just not having it in the picture, I noticed, changes in my skin, my body, and just emotionally, mentally, I felt a lot more elevated. I think that alcohol is something that can definitely decrease or, diminish your vibration on like an energetic standpoint. So I certainly felt it in that regard. And I said, you know what, this feels so good not having this be a part of my life anymore that I think I'm just gonna keep it going. I actually went down to Florida on a vacation with my family back in February, and that was my first vacation completely alcohol free, and they all drank on the trip, and I have no problem with people that drink. I want to make that clear too. If you're somebody that likes to drink, that's totally fine. I respect your decision, but for me personally, I just feel that it doesn't resonate, and my family totally respected that choice on my vacation, and we still had an awesome time. Like, I had so much fun. You know, we were at the beach, we hung out, it was great. And I realized too, with that trip in February, like being on a vacation, right? There's, you know, lots of temptation for drinking around. And I realized, I'm like, I don't even need this to enjoy myself. Like, why did I feel like I needed to have alcohol in my life in order to have a good time, in order to socialize? I've totally deconstructed that belief now, and I realize now that that was an illusion that I had created in my mind that really held me back from just discovering my authentic self. Because I don't know if anyone listening to this can relate, but especially in Western culture, as I said, you know, you go to college, you go to brunch, you do whatever, and you just get caught up in this cycle of drinking, and that's when your social life comes into play, right? So it's like every single social gathering somehow has alcohol connected to it. You do a game night with your friends, there's alcohol involved. You watch The Bachelor with your girlfriends, there's alcohol involved. You go out with your friends at night, there's alcohol involved. Brunch during the daytime, going to the beach, literally whatever it is. Alcohol is so heavily emphasized in our culture, and that bothers me because I feel like it takes people's power away. It takes away our ability to express ourselves truly and authentically, and to connect with our emotions really authentically, because I think of it as like alcohol is kind of this thing you could pour into a clear bottle of water and it would just like make it murky, right? It would make it a little less clear. And for me, by having it out of the picture, I've gained so much clarity in my life. This year, 2020, has been a huge like spiritual year for me. Obviously, I had my spiritual awakening last year, but so much has been brought to light this year for me. I've done a lot of shadow work this year, and if you've heard me talk about this kind of stuff before, I think that 2020 was a year of collective shadow work for like everybody on a global scale. But by not having alcohol in the equation, I've really been able to kind of dive inward and ask myself like huge questions. You know, it's like, who am I at my core? Like, what is it that I desire? Who is it that I want to be? And this was the year that I can say that I've truly found myself, and I feel like I've been able to express myself more authentically this year than I ever have before in my entire life. And I think a big part of that is not having alcohol in the equation, you know, not feeling like I need to hide some aspect of myself or drink in order to make myself likable. It's almost like that seeking that external validation, right? And that has totally been stripped away by me having alcohol out of the equation. And the other thing that I want to say for anybody listening to this, if you're wondering how, you know, alcohol has changed my life this past year, what I've learned, it's really allowed me to reflect on a lot in my life. And certain friendships or relationships fell away, and that's okay. And I understand that. And it's nothing against anybody, but you know, sometimes you realize so many of these relationships that we might have had in our lives are so centered around alcohol, and it's like, okay, well, if you don't drink anymore, what was our real friendship? Like, did we really know each other? Did we really connect with one another? Or was it just because we were drunk in a bathroom every time we hung out and we would chit chat online while we waited at the bar? Like, things like that. It's made me kind of realize some friendships have dwindled off, and I've accepted that and I'm okay with it. And nothing against any of those people, but it's just, it's been a wake-up call, honestly, in so many different ways. So if you're somebody that's thinking about potentially, you know, ditching alcohol in the new year, don't be surprised if certain relationships fall away. I think it's a part of that process. Maybe some of the things that might be holding us back that we don't even realize. And sometimes that's the relationships around us. So that was a big thing for me. But to kind of spin off of that on a more positive note, going alcohol free has introduced me to so many amazing people in my life. I have been absolutely blown away by how supportive the alcohol-free, sober curious community is. Even on social media, there are so many people out there who are on the same journey, and that has totally empowered me, that I've been able to connect with some amazing people. I've even interviewed some awesome people on the podcast about this subject. Sober Yoga Girl, Alex McGraw, my friend Dan with Athletic Brewing, and I have another exciting interview coming up as well. So reaching out to other people is huge, and that's why I want to be more vocal about this. And I want to express this to you guys, just how much of a change it's made for me. Because one of my biggest goals for the new year, and something that I've learned more about this year, is just expressing myself authentically, not being afraid to speak my truth, not letting my ego get in the way. And I'm not going to let my ego hold me back anymore. I'm going to speak up about the things that I'm passionate about, that I care about. Going alcohol free is one of those things because it's totally transformed my life. I think back to when I used to drink, and I feel like I'm a completely different person now, and I mean that in the best way possible. So many things that I used to do, so many things that I used to seek no longer resonate. They're no longer aligned with who I am. And if you take the alcohol out of the equation, I guarantee you that you will have a greater sense of clarity in your life. You'll be able to take that opportunity to really actually connect with your emotions, truly, to feel things. I think sometimes also people use alcohol as a way to not feel, right? They use it as a way as an escapism, as a way to distract. And if you don't have that in the equation, you don't have any substance in the equation, there is no distraction. There's no running away from your feelings. There's no hiding. You have to literally face them, and you have to deal with them, and you have to integrate them and work through them. And that's what 2020 has allowed me to do. And even on a health standpoint, I am the healthiest I think I've ever been in my entire life this year. Not to brag, I'm not trying to brag by any means. I lift heavier than I've ever lifted in my life. I'm more athletic, honestly, than I've ever been in my life. And it's led me also, I think, to realizing my true passion and purpose, and just going for it. I mean, obviously, I think my spiritual awakening has been the main catalyst, but I think by having no alcohol in my life, I've been able to focus on that a little bit more clearly, a lot bit more clearly, and just go for it, you know, full throttle. Like, I don't hold myself back anymore. I don't hide my feelings anymore. I don't hide what I'm passionate about, what I care about. Obviously, if you're watching this channel, I talk about what I want to talk about here, and if this message resonates with you, cool. If it doesn't, I understand that, that's fine, but I'm not going to shrink myself anymore. I'm not going to hold myself back anymore. I'm going to speak my truth, and I'm going to continue to do that. And in order to continue doing that, I'm going to continue to not have alcohol be a part of the equation, because I know that it was holding me back in a lot of different ways. And so if you're watching this and you are contemplating, you know, the sober curious, teetotaler, alcohol-free lifestyle, give it a shot for this month of January. Give it a try. I'm telling you, you will notice a difference. You will feel a difference mentally, physically, spiritually, emotionally, every aspect of your life. I guarantee you, I can almost be willing to bet money that you will feel a difference and you will notice a change. And if you're someone like me, you know, if you partied a lot in college and, you know, you felt like it was holding you back, I totally get it. I know how it feels, but I also know how good it feels to let that go, and to also step away from that mindset of like thinking you need to have alcohol to have a good time. I think that's the biggest thing that I've realized, is that we are enough as we are. Our personalities, our disposition, our energy, our magnetism is enough just as it is. We don't need alcohol to somehow prove ourselves to somebody or to make ourselves seem more attractive or endearing to people. And that has been one of my biggest takeaways. And I think that the industry as a whole, I can go on a whole nother tangent about this. The industry as a whole is messed up because it keeps feeding us this narrative that we need that. Especially women, and that really bothers me, but that's a whole nother tangent. If you're thinking about, you know, potentially cutting it out, give it a try. I'm telling you, there's a huge amount of support out there. I have found so many people on this journey that are, you know, aligned on the same path, sober curious, alcohol free, whatever it might be. There's a whole spectrum too. I think that's a big misconception. There's an entire spectrum of people in the sober community. So you can fall into any of that, and you will be welcome and you will be accepted with any of that. Obviously, if you're struggling with any addiction, please seek help for that. I am going to leave some links to resources in the description of this video if that is your circumstance, and I'm wishing you so much love if that is. Otherwise, if you're just thinking about, you know, cutting it out, if you want to be healthier, if you want to be more balanced, if you want to really access your fullest potential, try eliminating it. I'm here to tell you that it is literally probably the best decision I made this entire year, and it's led me down this this amazing path now of speaking my truth and sharing my truth, and living alcohol free is something that's quite important to me and I'm quite passionate about. So I want to continue sharing my story and my experience with you guys, so hopefully it can motivate or encourage some of you, inspire you. Obviously, I'm not here to tell you you have to ditch alcohol. You know, you're the master of your own fate, captain of your own soul. But if it's something that resonates with you, certainly give it a try. Know that there's plenty of people out there to support you. I support you wholeheartedly if you're on that journey, if you are embarking on it. Leave me a comment, let me know, let's connect. There's plenty of people in the Sober Curious community as well, and we're all here to support you. Like I said, I didn't even know that the sober community was a thing when I first ditched alcohol, and then halfway through 2020, I found so many people on social media to connect with that are so amazing and so supportive. So if you enjoyed this video, please go ahead and hit that subscribe button, the like button as well. It lets me know that you've enjoyed this video, and the little notification bell. I'm going to be posting a lot more videos. That's one of my intentions for the new year, is just being more authentic with you guys, sharing more of my experience, and empowering more of you to just really live your optimal best self. So again, so much health and love to you. Also, Happy New Year. It is December 31st, like I said, at the time of this. So Happy New Year. And let's make 2021 the best year yet. And if you're interested, again, if you want to go alcohol free, go for it. I'm telling you, might be one of the best decisions you ever make. That is all my loves, and I will see you next time.